The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
This is Bobby Lashley. You're listening to Trash Talking Radio, 7 to 10 every Tuesday night.
And during the 2 moments that we have left, we want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
Tuesday night from 7 to 10, if you don't listen to Trash Talking Radio on TrashTalkingRadio.com, you will feel the wrath and the fury. This is Roger Strong. You're listening to TrashTalkingRadio.com from 7 to 10 Tuesday night. I was a mira from the Spanish and my Trash Talking Radio. You must está acha on the internet. TrashTalkingRadio.com.
Hey, this is Maddie Neidhart coming at you from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and you're listening to TrashTalkingRadio.com every Tuesday from 7 to 10.
This is the Vital Idol, and you're listening to Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10 on TrashTalkingRadio.com. Remember this, Vital Idol tells you it's got to be true, and when it's on the internet, it's got to be real. It's Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10. I am Top of the Pop, the King of Swing, the international rock star way above par, the host with the most, Mr. Tuesday Night, the Vital Idol. Classic like trash. Thank you very much.
This is the Latina sensation Mercedes Martinez talking to you at my Papi Chulo, Mike the Trash Talking Radio, Tuesdays from 7 to 10. Mwah. Have a good one, ladies.
Yo, this is New Jack, and you listen to Trash Talk Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10. If you ain't listening to it, you ain't real. If you ain't real, you're a bitch. This is from the original gangsta OG style, baby. I do it like I want to do it, where I want to do it, when I want to do it, believe me. Hey, this is Chris Jericho, the sexy beast of the WWE. I'm the lead singer of Fozzy. And you're listening to Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday night from 7 to 10 p.m. and also available on the World Wide Web at TrashTalkingRadio.com. Don't miss it, ass clown.
Welcome to the Trash Talking Radio show. Please take a seat and help yourself to the snacks and beverages. The show will begin in just a few seconds. Are you ready? Are you seated? Please welcome your host. He is the singer/songwriter of the Uncle Sam Band. He is the host with the most, Mr. Tuesday Night, every woman's fantasy. He is the manager of champions, singer of songs, an actor without a script, lover of life. He is a Tesla driving, song singing, talk show hosting, son of a gun. Please welcome the Vital Idol, Classy, Mike Trash. Hey, do I get paid for this?
No, you do not. Hey, how's everyone doing out there? It's good to see you all, and hope you're doing well. Welcome to the show. We're back once again for your listening pleasure. So, here I am. Told you I'd be back. Anyway, I wanted to do this first. I got to do this. This was what I wanted to do. The end that segment where we had this and that. It's all fancy and everything. And it looks good. This is a good new set we're on. I don't know if I'm going to keep this set or not. But we'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. Oh, I got a black spot on my face. Oh my gosh. Didn't see that earlier. The lights are setting and that's what's screwing me up here because it didn't look that bad before it started. Let's see. Oh, it looks worse. Oh no. Wait, let me see what we can do to fix that. Here we go. There we go. Lighting the fly. All right. Now we're better. And so you see my nice new table here. And my drinks and stuff are all here too. And the cool thing is I can switch between monitors too. It's pretty neat. I want this monitor. You can talk about this monitor. And then if I don't want that monitor, I want this monitor. We got it. There it is. How you like that? That's pretty fancy, huh? All right. Well, let's get things going. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's see what we can do here. See if there's anything. I'll tell you what, I really think I'm going to have to try to find this thing I saw Nietzsche do. He cracked me up because, we always have Nietzsche on the show. But it's kind of funny when I saw this. See if I can find it here. I was scrolling through the timeline. Who's that? Oh, I know him. Oh, that's cool. I don't usually scroll through the timeline because there's usually, I'm doing something and I'm busy and stuff like that. But I saw, let me see here. Where is it? I'm going to see if I can find it because it was really funny. See if I can get, what's that? That looks interesting. Okay, well, that has nothing to do with the show, but there was a really, really funny clip that Nietzsche did. I could probably find it if I go to his page. But he was dancing and singing, and that in itself, the Grange Fair, that's where I'm going to be. My band is playing there in a short period of time, in August. That's going to be fun. There we go. You're used to seeing that, I'm sure. So, we'll be playing there soon, and in August, actually. And I'm really excited because we're going to be able to play a live show and have people there and all kinds of stuff. I mean, we really live for that, and we haven't had time to play, or haven't had a chance to play because of the situation with COVID. Oh boy, look at this. You can get your own dance pole. All right. Dual function. Oh, it would be the dual function. I would think that the only function for a dance pole is dancing, right? Oh, I don't know. Oh, there's Cage. That's not the thing I wanted. He did it. Is it an open? He won first place in the... Oh, that's very cool. I got to talk to him. I haven't talked to him in a while. But it'd be good to get him back on the show. Hey, what's that? Never be ashamed of a scar. That's true. All right, so I'm not going to be able to find this easily unless I go... Let me try it. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if it's on this page. There it is. There's our friend Nietzsche dancing. I can't play the music as much as I'd like to. Well, I guess I can play it because I am playing it now. We're going to turn this down so I don't get in trouble for it. But he's singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And I thought that was really funny that he would put that on there. So, we got a little video of Nietzsche. So if you ever wondered what he looked like, you can't really tell yet because, he has a mask on. But that's Nietzsche in his full glory singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Nietzsche, you got to be careful what you put on there because if I see it, I'm going to use it. Oh, man. I love that. He's a great guy, and I'll tell you, if there's anybody that I think is a great guy, that would be him. So, pretty much a stand-up guy, and I met him, how many years ago was it? It was probably 2006 was the first time maybe that I met him. I think that's when I met him. He was starting to listen to the show at 2004 or 5. So, anyway, all right, we'll get to the show here. And, all right, there we go. All right, first things first. A couple people died this week. A couple people, some people you probably don't have any idea who they are. Like, for instance, Ann Betts, pioneer SNL writer and Square Pegs, passes away at 74. I have no idea who she is, but I liked Saturday Night Live, and, I just wanted to give her her kudos because she was a big part of the early Saturday Night Lives, and those were when I enjoyed them the most. Is that we had Saturday Night Lives that were more my speed, but she has passed away. Another one, everyone knows this. Everyone under the sun knows this. And whether you like them, hate them, whatever, I personally think they're a waste of time, but seems women agree with me. But, I believe that the royal family is a waste of energy. They have been I'm going to try this here. Turn this. Nope, that's going to screw up my lighting. All right. The royal family, I think, is a waste of everybody's time. But what do I know? Prince Philip, husband of the Britain's Queen Elizabeth II, dies at 99. 99 years old. And he probably never worked a day in his life. Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth II's husband and the longest-serving consort of the British monarch, has died at 99. Oh boy, it's a long, long life. I can't imagine. I mean, he should have held out for another year. Then he would have made 100. But hey, I don't think he could make that choice. I think he was, Anyway, a statement posted on the royal family's website said, "It is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen announces the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh." So there you go. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that because, he spent 65 years supporting the Queen, retiring from his public role in 2017 and staying largely out of view. In his active years, he helped set a new course of the monarchy, championing Britain itself, as well as environmental causes, science, and technology. Again, I don't know. It's kind of like over there, so I really don't care. But I know that a lot of women do care about him, do care about the family. So, yeah. It says Prince Philip's son, Andrew, speaks out about his death, as Queen Elizabeth left with a huge void.
This is a real B&H customer story. Jack and Barbara, professional wildlife...
Anyway, that was an ad. I try not to get them playing anything. But anyway, yeah, he is definitely out on a limb. But I mean, imagine this. I mean, he's 99 and he's no longer with us. He was with her for a long time, so that would leave a huge void in anybody's life. And I'll tell you, when I lost my wife, it was only 7 years ago. And it had a big, intense thing. It really made a difference about my life. And so if I was with her for 50 years, oh man, I can't even imagine. But hey, he stayed with her for what, I don't know how many years, but still, that's a long time. Edward, 57, said that the extraordinary tributes meant a lot to the royal family. It goes to show he may have been our father, grandfather, father-in-law, but he meant so much to so many other people. Well, I hope when I go, somebody will say something nice about me. I don't think that'll happen, but you never know. But that's the one death. And then we've got, let's see here. Oh yeah, this is a big one. Well, yeah, this is a big one. Last week we talked about DMX and DMX the rapper. Well, DMX the rapper is DMX. Nothing less than a rapper. DMX the rapper actor dies at 50. That is entirely too young to die. So we have one guy that died very old, and one guy that died young. I really, I saw the writing on the books about this, because this guy, he took that OD and it caused a heart attack, and they said he was brain dead. And really, last week we could have easily said he was dead, because he wasn't going to come back out of that. That would have been almost impossible. But I think he was truly ahead of his time. So I kind of really am sad about that, because I saw him on a episode of Comic Book Men, and it was the last year that they did it. I think that was 2018. It was 2017, but whatever it was really good, and it was really interesting. And I was really kind of bummed that he was one of the people that ended up dying, because he set a standard for people. And boy, there's a lot of blackness on this. What's going on here? Why am I so part of it? Oh, that's good. You just drop your freaking light. Alright, what's going on? I gotta get this thing, see if I can get that a little better, a little cleaner there, because that should not be, every week it's different. I can't seem to get this lighting stuff down. I need a lighting person. That's better, but maybe let me see if I can change the lighting a little bit in here, because I thought it was better earlier, and now it's really bad. Oh boy. I'll just stand here with this. There we go. There, it's clean. Maybe I can set this up. Like that. There goes some of it. There, that's a little bit better. A little. Depends what screen I look at. Where's the issue? It's over here. Part of the problem is the lighting coming in at the end of the day is coming through a window that I can't do anything about. But in an hour or so, it'll disappear. I can do this. You're saying, what? Alright, then I can't do it. What's going on? Oh, I unplugged it. This is the problem with doing a show by yourself. You have to do everything by yourself. Hold on. Alright, what's going on with that? Well, that sucks. Hold on there, and I will be right with you. I want to turn on the studio lights. Well, that seems a little better, other than the bullet shot to my head. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Now, I'll stop. Okay, now I'm back. Everything's working now. Everything except the mix. Trash Talking Radio Tuesday night. It's the best night of the week. I'm a little late on the mix, but sorry about that. Anyway, I was talking about DMX passing away, and kind of a strange thing, because we had the Prince at 99, and then we had DMX at 50. So, geez, just a shame for so many reasons, but according to his Wikipedia, DMX stands for Dark Man X. He was a rapper, songwriter, and actor. He began rapping in the 90s, released his album It's Dark and Hot. It's Dark and Hell is Hot in 98. That's his debut album. I released my album a year before that. Bet you he made more money on his album. Anyway, it included songs like Party Up in here, his single Where the Hood At, and X Gonna Give It To Ya. He was the first artist to debut an album at number 1 5 times in a row on the Billboard 200. And DMX has sold over 74 million albums worldwide. Man, that's unbelievable. That is really, really awesome. DMX was featured in films such as Belly, Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds, Cradle to the Grave, and Last Hour. In 2006, he starred in the reality television series DMX Soul of a Man, which primarily aired on BET. He published books on his memoirs entitled Earl, the autobiography of DMX. Let's see here. He got in legal trouble in the 80s. Says here, oh, he was born in either Baltimore, Maryland, or Mount Vernon, New York. Wonder how you know which one it was. His father, Barker, was an artist. It says here, Simmons suffered greatly from bronchial asthma, being taken to an emergency room almost nightly due to him waking up unable to breathe. He was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, but later became disillusioned with the faith when an incident by a drunk driver crossing the street. A month later, an insurance representative went to the house to try to reach an agreement to prevent his family from suing. Simmons claimed that he was told that his family could have been awarded a settlement of $10,000 or possibly even more. But he sustained the injuries he sustained, but his mother rejected the settlement and claimed that Jehovah's Witnesses taught them to be self-sufficient. Oof, I can understand that, because when I was attacked by a dog, a savage dog, when I was a kid, my parents didn't sue him, and they should have sued him, because I went through a lot of pain and suffering. I had a big chunk out of my leg, and nobody paid for that, just me, because of the pain. So, let's go a little further. 1991 and 96, he got his start at the age of 14. Wait a minute, that's not 1991. Well, yeah, I guess it might have been. When he beatboxed for Reddy Ron after serving prison time for stealing a dog, he began writing his own lyrics and performing at local recreation center for younger children. In prison in 1988 for carjacking, he began dedicating most of all of his free time to writing lyrics and also meeting and rapping with K Solo. Let's see here. 96 to 98. He recorded his tracks for his debut album. During this time, his guest appearances on Maze's 24 Hours to Live and Take What's Yours and the Lox single Money, Power, Respect and the LL Cool J's 4321 created a buzz. Then he released a single Get At Me Dog on Def Jam Records. And let's see here. He released his third and best-selling album, and then there was X in 99. So, yeah, I gotta say that I respect the guy. I truly respect the guy. He earned $2.3 million from his songs between 2010 and 2015. He also filed for bankruptcy 3 times. His first filing was 2013, citing his child support obligations as his priority claim. The filing was challenged by the United States Trustee Program and was dismissed by the bankruptcy court in Manhattan in 2013. He feuded with J. Roll. He feuded with Jay-Z. Seemed to have a problem with Jay's, I guess. And, well, the rest is history. Look it up on his Wikipedia page, but he was truly a legend in his art. So, So I want to talk about that as well. And then I wanted to talk about, let's see here. One more death, although it's not the death of a person, it's the death of a business. And it doesn't really affect me because it's on the West Coast. Hey, Amy Sue, how are you? Let's see here. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? Ad. Okay. ArcLight Cinemas and Pacific Theaters won't be reopening. Parent company Decuron hands the keys back to the landlords. So after all this COVID stuff and not being able to have business for more than a year, it's affected a lot of companies. And this was a company that you think about, if you're a West Coast guy, I mean, we have AMC here, and we have Regal, and we have another couple others out here. And so we still have our, hold on here, I'll post that in here. We have a bunch of movie theaters out here, but I'm surprised that they're surviving. I mean, Regal still hasn't opened their theater, and so it's hard to say if they will. They probably will. It says here, the last thing we needed to hear is the box office and exhibition are rebounding from the pandemic. Pandemic was bad news, but word spread like wildfire in distribution and exhibition circles Monday that ArcLight Cinemas and Pacific Theaters won't be reopening. The chain owned by Decuron has issued a statement. Here's the statement. Last week, I was hearing the chain was shooting for Memorial Day weekend reopening with A Quiet Place 2 and Cruella. Now those hopes are dashed, and at a unfortunate time, because it's expected that Los Angeles County could have more movie theaters opening at 100% capacity by then. Well, before Governor Gavin Newsom's June 15th wide open order. So, basically, they've been around for 58 years, and, it's kind of a shame to see them go. So they've shutting the doors for more than a year, and basically the long and short of it is that their March rent was due, and it was $182,000. So, yeah, that'll put you in the hole. It's just unbelievable. But so they are going away, and like I said, I'm surprised that AMC and Regal are still around, but they're the two biggest. So, I mean, they're going to survive before some of the others. But that is the DOA. That is the RIPs. So, all right. WrestleMania was this weekend, and Michael Cole is one of the announcers, and he watched the ending of the main event on Saturday, and I found that pretty interesting because that doesn't happen very often. They're usually pretty good about doing things right, and that was a big botch. But I'm sure he got it read to him the riot act as far as that goes. And it says here, Michael Cole will likely want to forget this WrestleMania moment, as his mistake nearly spoiled the best moment of on the night of Saturday. The longtime WWE play-by-play man who has delivered memorable soundtracks to some of WrestleMania's biggest moments completely botched the call of Bianca Belair's main event victory over Sasha Banks to claim the SmackDown Women's Championship on Night 1 of WrestleMania 37 at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. As Belair hit her Kiss of Death finisher and rolled Banks up for the 1-2-3, Cole, for some reason, thought the boss had kicked out, and the crowd went crazy. A Kiss of Death wraps up Banks, Cole exclaims. A kick out by Sasha. Thankfully, SmackDown broadcast partner Corey Graves quickly swooped in for the save. No, she won, he yelled at the WWE ring announcer Greg Hamilton as he announced the Belair as the new champion. So you got to be careful when you're in that business because there's not much room for mistakes, and that was a major mistake. So, yeah, kind of sad. Sad for him, I think. And, you know, I'm sure he heard about it. Next, we got a story on Eddie Van Halen. Guitar god in my eyes. And that is that. Which one do I want to play here? Oh, you know what? This is not one I'm going to play. This is one I'm going to play. I got a special featured reporter for this one. So here we go. This is our friend, and she will tell you all about the Frankenstrat.
3 classic guitars designed and played by Eddie Van Halen sold for $422,000 at a Julien's auction earlier this week. The sale, which included items from stars including Nirvana's Kurt Cobain, Lady Gaga, Bob Marley, Michael Jackson and Elvis, was highlighted by a trio of the late Guitar Hero's customized instruments, including one of his Kramer Frankenstrat models with the signature white and black stripes on a red body, which went for $231,250. His 2004 EVH Charvel Art Series axe went for $140,800, and the guitar and costume that EVH used in the Hot for Teacher video brought in $50,000. The items went under the hammer, part of Tuesday and Wednesday's Icons and Idols Trilogy, Rock and Roll event, which went online just over a month after Van Halen died on October 6 at age 65 following a long battle with cancer. As we were preparing for our annual Icons and Idols Rock and Roll auction lineup, we were stunned to hear the sad news of Eddie Van Halen's passing. Darren Julien, president and CEO of Julien's Auctions, said in a statement before the sale, "We are honored to include at this event 2 iconic guitars from his brilliant and blazing career as one of rock's greatest and most gifted guitar heroes. His instruments join their rightful place among other rock royalty items from Kurt Cobain, Michael Jackson, Aerosmith and many others." The auction also featured a black Fender Stratocaster played and smashed by Cobain during Nirvana's 1994 In Utero tour at a show at the Palais Omnisport de Rennes in Rennes, France, on February 16, 1994, which went for $128,000. Michael Jackson's white nylon right-hand glove with a silver tone metal hook, covered in hand-sewn Swarovski crystals and worn by the late King of Pop during the Jacksons' 1984 Victory Tour. Final bid, $76,800. Lady Gaga's black Cayman PVC jacket worn in the video and photo shoot for her makeup brand, House Laboratories. Final bid, $6,400.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's a lot of money.
3 classic guitars designed.
A lot of money. So, I mean, you think about the
EVH Charvel series.
You think of the Charvel, you think of the Frankenstrat, that's the guitar he played most often and in a lot of videos. $231,000. He couldn't sell his Ferrari. No, was it a Ferrari? I think it was his Ferrari. He couldn't sell his Ferrari for $205,000, and that thing he paid $1 million for. And so that shows you that guitar was worth a whole lot more than that car was worth. And then he has another Charvel Art Series axe or guitar, if you're not a guitarist, went for $140,800. Even if I had it, I can't imagine spending that kind of money on a guitar. That just blows me away. And I'm a big fan, but I'm not that big of a fan to spend that kind of money on that. That just blows me away. And the other stuff that blew me away was this.
Jackson's 1984 Victory Tour. Final bid,
So you talk about the Nirvana guitar. That's sold for $128,000. It was probably maybe a $500 guitar. Maybe it's okay. Let's say I'm generous and said it was a $1,200 guitar. Somebody spent $128,000 for that guitar. That blows me away. I just have I don't know. I don't understand it. I love guitars. but I would never spend that on a guitar. That's just crazy stuff. And Lady or Jackson's glove went for $76,000. $76,000. That's a lot of glove, and he didn't even get the matching glove. He only got one of them. So I don't know. Lady Gaga's jacket, $6,400. At least she got a jacket. He got a whole jacket, not just one glove. You got to spend $76,000 to get the other glove now. I don't know. People are just crazy. So I just thought that was funny that somebody would spend that kind of money on that stuff. There's no way I would spend anywhere near that kind of stuff. But according to Guitar World, Eddie had gotten a guitar from, Eddie Guitar gifted a guitar to Leslie West of Mountain, and that sold for $50,000. The Steve Ripley made model is thought to have been an understudy to Eddie Van Halen's main acts on tours in the mid-'80s. It was gifted to legendary Mountain guitarist soon after. Eddie Van Halen owned Kramer, Stryker, Ripley, Frankenstrat. That's another. I think he had more than one Frankenstrat because the one went for $225,000, which was gifted to Mountain guitarist and electric guitar god Leslie West. Has sold for $50,000 at Heritage Auctions. The guitar spent the first years of its life in good hands after it was made for Eddie Van Halen by Steve Ripley in 1984. The axe was reportedly Van Halen's backup Frankenstrat for the 1984 and the 5150 tours in the 80s. Ripley's known for his stereo guitars that Eddie Van Halen utilized on tracks like Top Jimmy, and built this Frankenstrat in question from the foundations of a Kramer Stryker. So sometime in the 1990s, the guitar was gifted to West, who then gave it to the co-signer, an individual who acted as his private bodyguard between 1989 and 2001, and has worked on some of the biggest names of the music and film industry. So, I wonder if my guitar collection's worth anything. Of course, mine isn't made by, or isn't done by, those big guys like Eddie and stuff like that, but I'm just amazed that people would spend that kind of money. They spent so much money for those. But hey, I have more power to them. If they got the money and they can spend it, more power to them. So, anyway, maybe I'm just jealous because I don't have one. Those guitars, that is. Friends reunion. Use opening credits fountain on their center stage from their original stage. So yeah, fountain and original stage used for reunion nostalgia. Friends. My sister's a Friends fan, and I don't know. I liked it. It was okay. It was it was somewhat funny, not realistic, but I mean, how many shows are realistic nowadays, or then? So I can't really speak because I watch a lot of things that aren't realistic. But anyway, friends are in an upcoming reunion won't be able to see some familiar faces or familiar places, including the famous water fountain and set. I won't just see some familiar places and familiar faces. They're going to see the famous water fountain and original set. Sources familiar with production tell us the reunion was shot over a span of 3 days at Warner Brothers Studios, and we've obtained a photo of the lot showing bleachers and the equipment around the fountain where the show's opening credits were shot. Our sources say a live audience participation in the reunion, but it appeared they were mostly union extras, COVID screened and hired for the gig. I get those kind of notices, not for the Friends thing, but for a lot of different things in my account that I can be part of these different movies and shows and stuff. As what was discussed in front of the cameras, still that remains a mystery. But we know the stars: Jennifer Aniston, Matthew Perry, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, David Schwimmer, and Matt LeBlanc participated. So there you go. In fact, Perry sent fans into a frenzy when he quickly posted, then deleted a photo of himself in a makeup chair with the caption, "Seconds before eating a makeup brush, not to mention reuniting with my friends." It's an HBO special, so those of you that are Friends fans, that's where you're going to see it. I guess I'll be able to see it because I have HBO Max. So, anyway, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. All right, next. We got... This is interesting to me. I like Daredevil. I watched the Daredevil thing that was on Netflix. I loved Daredevil stuff. It was just really awesome. But I was told that when Daredevil, when they MCU or are they DC? They are Marvel. Okay, all right, that's right. They are Marvel. Well, apparently, Daredevil is coming out season 3, and they're going to change it a little bit. I guess this is the trailer for it. I guess I'm assuming. Let's see. Where's the volume for this? Oh, there it is.
Use lethal force.
If I were wearing a mask, the press would be calling me a hero. We surrender!
That doesn't look like
I work for the
Daredevil.
federal government. FBI helped keep me on the straight and narrow. But now...
I think they're lying. That's not Daredevil. What is that? Because if that's Daredevil, I would say they changed the whole plot. Oh. Okay, Daredevil season 3. Huh, there he is. There's Daredevil. That's cool. Okay.
We're in danger.
I wonder if it's the same Daredevil. I think it is the same Daredevil. So that would be cool. Because I love that because he's blind and he is a fighter. He can fight for justice and all that stuff. And it's really funny when you think about it. He's blind and he's out there fighting bad guys. And, well, yeah, he's kind of fun. It's fun to watch. So, yeah. But anyway, they're coming out with a season 3. And I think it'll be interesting because they're going to use Charlie Cox. It says here, according to the signs, Charlie Cox is headed back to the MCU universe as Daredevil. We don't know exactly what Marvel plans for the Man Without Fear, but they're putting their own stamp on it. I'm excited about it because I really liked the stuff that character was, and I just hope they don't go too far from. Well, I mean they're Marvel; they'll do a good job of it. But here's a picture of Daredevil and Spider-Man on the same thing, and Spider-Man's one of the only guys that crossed over, I think. But I'm excited about it. I want to see what happens. And it says here, of course, on his next Netflix show, Murdoch had a trio of love interests, namely Karen Page, Claire Temple, and Elektra Natchios. Intel suggests that all the main cast of Daredevil would return to the MCU along with Cox. So the fact that Marvel allegedly won't move forward with Matt-Karen romance doesn't necessarily mean that Wolf isn't coming back. In any case, Echo is in development now, but it could be a couple of years away from release. And it says Daredevil, meanwhile, looks set to appear in Spider-Man's No Way Home coming this December. So I think it would be interesting. I definitely would watch that because, like I said, I liked Daredevil. And so if he's going to be coming back, very cool. I'd like to see all the ones that Netflix had come back. Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Cage, and who's the other guy? I forgot his name. The other guy, the billionaire or whatever that left his office to be to get away from all the people, and I forget the name of him, but I'd be into it. I definitely would be into it. So Daredevil would be fun to watch again. Then we got there's a singer named Olivia Rodrigo, and she gets a tough lesson. She gets parking tickets alone, and I don't really understand, but with Olivia Rodrigo's driver's license giveth, it taketh away, at least from her bank account, because the singer just got nailed with a parking ticket. She catapulted to the top of the charts with a single earlier this year, but just learned one of the harsh realities of driving in Los Angeles and just about every other big city. No matter how hard you try, eventually you're going to get hit with a parking violation. And there is the picture of the ticket. It's difficult, even in like Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. When I was working, I actually got a parking ticket too, and I was really mad because I should have known better. But you live and you learn. The singer posted a photo of her ticket with the caption, "Damn, this driving stuff ain't all fun and games. You're telling us." So there you go. Just got to be a little more careful, or else you get the ticket. But then again, if you're Amy, you get tickets for just being alive and walking down the street. Is that right, Amy? Anyway, yeah. Anyway, that's that. Then we got Jennifer Lopez. Her wedding ring is missing. Her massive engagement ring is missing. What gives? I think there's foul play here. I don't know. I think A-Rod may have had second thoughts about this. I think I just hit that too before it posted. Nope, I got it right. Okay. So who knows? But she lost her wedding ring, according to this article. And if TMZ doesn't know, who does? The wedding ring was worth $2 million. That's unbelievable. It wasn't a jewelry heist. It's actually a mystery surrounding her engagement with A-Rod. J-Lo posted a picture of herself Saturday on the set of a movie she's shooting in the DR. The movie's called Shotgun Wedding. Speaking of, where's the engagement ring? She captioned the pic, "Keep calm and on the weekend. The emerald cut ring with a massive diamond was missing in action. By the way, the ring's worth an estimated $1.8 million. The issue is not the cost, it's the whereabouts." They show a picture of her ring. That's just insane. What's it like to have that kind of money? You could just, write your check for $1.8 million. But then again, some people pay $225,000 for a guitar. So, as you all know by now, J-Lo and A-Rod hit a rough patch lately, seemingly calling off their engagement for a nanosecond, and then saying they're working through things. As we reported, the people told us they had briefly called it quits, although they never broke things off. A-Rod flew to DR after the breakup. It seemed they were patching things up. As for now, the ring's the thing. She clearly posted the pic with intention, so decipher for yourself. All right, well, I don't know. I can't imagine. Well, I guess I can. I guess I can imagine it. I mean, if you're not truly in love, or if you're tired of fighting, I mean, maybe it's time. I don't know. Then I got to be careful about playing this, so I'll post the link because I'll get in trouble for playing it. But what do you get when you have Metallica's Sandman and Van Halen's Panama? Well, you got another song. And actually, I've heard a lot of mashups, and I kind of wasn't impressed by this mashup as much. But, you know, it was okay. But it wasn't as good as some of the mashups I've heard in the past. But it was kind of fun. So, all right, here we go. I'll play part of it. I'm only going to play a part of it. Now, you know I'm going to get in trouble for playing part of it, but I'm going to play it. Okay. So you might want to check out the link. So I think the link is funny, and I think the idea is cute. I like both of those songs a lot. I like Sandman. I like Jump. I used to do Jump in my show when I was younger. Much younger. Much younger. In fact, I was really young. I was probably... Jump came out, I think it was around 1984 I did that song. So, just kind of, where did time go? Jeez. I just don't even know. But, yeah, it's crazy. But, I'll get in trouble for it if I play any more than that, because I'll probably get in trouble for playing that. Yeah. Well, that's just I posted it on my Twitter, and it's on my Facebook. So you can listen to the whole thing. And YouTube will be the first to jump all over me for that. But, yeah. What the heck? I've been in trouble with them before. I'm always in trouble with them. So, let's see. There we go. Have to find the right thing. All right, so that's that. And, okay. All right. I don't really understand this because I don't know who this guy is, but Gary Player's son banned from Masters after golf's done. So, I'm assuming Gary Player is a golfer. Or somebody is. I don't follow golf. But I just found it funny that being banned from the Masters, you got to do something crazy to be banned from the Masters. But it says here, all right. Oh, here we are. All right, here we go. Here's the thing that explains what he did. I can't get this thing to come up. Trying to get it to come up. There we go. Gary Player's son Wayne is under fire for seemingly hawking a ball brand live on the air. Okay, that would make sense. You don't really do that, I would imagine, at a golf event, but that still seems a little... I don't know. During an emotional ceremony for Lee Elder, the first black man to ever compete in the Masters, fans noticed Wayne Player, who was serving as his father's caddy, and not so subtly... Wait a minute, hold on there. Damn it. Where was it? Not so subtly. Okay. I need you to freaking work with me here. This is not helpful. Alright, not... Okay, let's see here. Gotta get this thing to back up a little. Okay. The only thought, this is from Wayne Player, the only thought that from that point was that it would be cool for fans to know what ball my dad was teeing off with. That's where it ends. If I've hurt people's feelings, I'm truly sorry and hope they will forgive me. Well, why wouldn't they? I mean, the Masters won't forgive you. All right, I want to get this thing backed up.
The new Hyundai Sonata. Gotcha. With class-exclusive remote smart parking assist.
Okay, why is that playing?
You won't find that on any Accord, Camry, or Altima.
Forget it. What the freak? What happened there? I didn't understand that. Okay, Wayne has since correctly been banned from... Oh, come on. I just can't read this. This is too fast. All right, let's see if we can get this down. I can't get this. Freaking A. Alright. This is the most obnoxious video I've ever had to deal with. See if we can figure out all the information. Okay, so it says, Lee Elder, the first black man ever to compete in Masters, was one of the ceremonial starters Thursday at Augusta's National alongside Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player, but is one of Player's sons who caused the uproar by seemingly promoting his dad's golf balls while Elder was being honored. Wayne Player, serving as Gary's caddy, could be seen sliding a golf ball sleeve into view in the background while Elder was being praised by Augusta chairman Fred Ridley. Wayne Player held the sleeve up throughout most of the cherished tradition. The only thought from that point was that it would be cool if fans knew what ball my dad was teeing off with. That's where it ends, and if I've hurt people's feelings, then I'm truly sorry, and hope they will forgive me. The drama didn't end there, however. Mark Player, who is reportedly estranged from Wayne, claimed his brother is now banned from Augusta. Jeez. For showing people a golf ball. Oh, man. It's not like it's a horrible... I mean, I realize it's a little disrespectful, and I can't believe that anybody really cares what golf ball somebody uses, but I guess that is something that maybe if I knew more about golf, I would care about, but that seems silly as anything. It says, what a shame, what an embarrassment, what a bad decision for allow him on the first tee after years of similar shenanigans. It says, Wayne has since correctly been banned from Augusta National and the Masters Tournament. And it says, Gary Player got $5 million and the rights to his name and likeness back from a company that operated by Mark Player in a Florida lawsuit that was settled last year. The details are murky, but through Player's attorney, Stuart Singer, called the issue a contractual dispute. Wayne Player, meanwhile, spent 5 nights in jail in 2019 after being arrested on fraud charges. And Player had allegedly tried to rent a house in 2018 near Augusta, and the $2,000 check was that he used bounced. Well, sounds like Wayne's a upstanding guy. Jeez. It's hard to believe. That's bizarre on all points. I can't imagine it really being that important. Maybe it's just a ball. I mean, he's truly he's got issues, but I mean, I just didn't really think that would be a big deal. I mean, I understand it's disrespectful. It is disrespectful for him to do that. But I don't know. I just think it's funny. It's a ball. And I doubt that people got really distracted. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. What do I know? I just think it's funny. Okay, next. Okay, where's the stories? I know I had some stories in here. Okay, here we go. Amazon wins in union rejections, but scrutiny of its labor practices isn't going away. So, this is kind of weird because, you think of Amazon as being the king of everything, but they don't seem to be doing very well as far as their publicity, their current publicity. So, let me post this and we'll go from there. Hold there. They had a button that I could push like some of the other ones. I could have it post it where it needs to be, but of course that would be too easy. All right. So, it says here, Amazon prevailed in its fight against labor organizing in Alabama warehouse, with workers rejecting the retail, wholesaler, and department store union by a ratio of 2-1. The union's definitive loss could be the end of the road for its effort in Alabama. The labor fight at Amazon may just be getting started. The union, which immediately said that it would to the election, argues that Amazon improperly swayed the vote, and it may yet win the redo the election. Whether or not it does, the effort garnered the backing of Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and words of support from President Joe Biden, and becoming a national story that could catalyze future attempts elsewhere, especially reports about the working conditions could spill out. Meanwhile, Amazon is trying to position itself as a leader on labor issues, directing the conversation away from unions. In a statement Friday, the company emphasized the advocacy, I can't say it, but I know what it means, for $15 federal minimum wage and the 40 billion Americans who make less than the starting wage at Amazon, and many more who don't get health care through their employers. Even if no warehouse workers try to organize in the near future, the scrutiny on working conditions at Amazon is likely to get even more intense. National Labor Relations Board reportedly considering investigating the company for a possible pattern of unfair practices after receiving 37 complaints of retaliation from Amazon workers who say they were fired or disciplined for organizing walkouts and complaining about working conditions, and Amazon's thousands of workers called essential during the coronavirus as they processed orders while risking infection. I don't know. It's really... Amazon is an interesting company because they make so much money and they employ so many people. But I don't know. I just don't know. They're one of the companies that made a lot of money during this pandemic. But somebody's got to make money, I guess, right? It's not me. I'm not making money. Not officially. But I do want to see what Tesla stock is today, because I am a stockholder. Let's see. Where are we? Oh, man. Should be here somewhere. Why did I put Tesla stock? Oh, there we go. Tesla stock. 762.32. I like that. Up 60%. Oh, I'm sorry. Up $60. 8.6%. Good. I like that. That's a good number. So I heard somewhere that it's supposed to go up to $1,000 shortly. And at that point, I'll have double the money. So anyway, we'll talk about more Tesla stuff in a little while. This is information I did not know, and it's really good information to know somehow. I don't know if it really matters, but it really matters kind of a little bit to me because I didn't realize that that all those companies were all the companies I'm going to tell you about were linked together at one point, and that is pretty big. That is the company of, hold on here, anyway, there were a couple of years, when GM ran DirecTV and Tomahawk missiles at the same time. Now, I don't really know what that means other than, I guess GM owned a lot of stuff that you wouldn't have expected them to own. Tomahawk missiles and DirecTV means that they had a big chunk of satellite stuff. But I don't really understand. Okay. Their General Motors was and is a huge company. They're one of the top automakers, and they've got all kinds of stuff that we don't know. It's kind of like Johnson & Johnson, which I'll talk about in a little while, where Johnson & Johnson owns a lot of stuff. And hi, puppy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, my buddy. My buddy is hanging out, being a good boy. Hasn't even barked once, which is amazing. And I'll reward him because he has now. But anyway, it says here, history of General Motors that won't bring up some comically incoherent bureaucracy, but I was surprised to realize that a couple of years ago, actually a couple of years ago, it was more than a couple of years ago, that there were a couple of years in the mid-90s when General Motors was nominally in charge of both beaming satellite TV into American homes and Tomahawk missiles abroad. Where'd you go? There you go. The company at the middle of this was Hughes Electronics. Now, Hughes Electronics used to be what turned into be DirecTV. And I only know that because I worked in the satellite industry in the 90s, well, up to, I worked 88 to 89. And then I worked for a company that sold Hughes satellite stuff in 89 and 90 and on up until it became DirecTV. So at the company in the middle of the Hughes Electronics, the Hughes of Howard Hughes of both Spruce Goose and Peeing in Bottles fame, Jim bought Hughes Aviation in the mid-'80s as part of the then CEO Roger Smith's push to leapfrog the rest of the auto industry and become the most technology advanced car maker in the world. Well, that's no longer true because they're truly not near what Tesla is. Smith went a GM of the future and advance electronics and Hughes Aviation. He was willing to buy it. GM dropped $5 billion in cash shares for what he saw as the future. That's just amazing amount of money for that time too. But yeah, it's just crazy stuff. I think about that kind of money now, and that's just a drop in the hat. Back in 1990, man, that was huge money then. So that's funny. Anyway, it says here, as reporters and camera operators crowded into the large basement meeting room, Mr. Smith seemed overjoyed at the big turnout. Sitting at the long table and smiling abroad, he said, "This is exactly what GM needs to get where we want to be for the future. We think it's a way to go. Electronics," he added, "is the new frontier." And it was, and it is. It still is. So electronics, think about it, in 1990, trying to think when I got my first internet connection. I think it was 99. Maybe it was 95. I think it was 99 though, before we actually got cable modems. Because I think it was when I moved to this house that we got. I think before that it was cable modems, or it wasn't cable modems. It was just modems, and yeah, that's when I think about that. It was just a regular modem then. The old dial-up modems, and I had 9600 baud at one time, and then speed, lightning speed. Anyway, we want to have the best products, and the way to do it is have the best technology. Hopefully that helps explain why GM bought Hughes. As for the Rogers legacy, it was hard to teach the old dog of GM new tricks. And this company side philosophy only shot out spurts of high tech here and there, like Saturn or Quad 4. A lot of these 1980s where waves crashed on Rogers in the 1990s. And Roger ended up remembered more for Roger and me than anything else. So, anyway, I just think it's interesting that they own both of those things. And it says here, in 1985, GM bought Hughes Aircraft for close to $6 billion from Howard Hughes Medical Institute, a foundation Howard Hughes had created. Despite several marriages and numerous romances, Howard Hughes never had any children, and he left his estate to the Medical Institute. Hughes Aircraft dealt in most advanced technologies, and was heavily involved in the space program. Hughes Aircraft did not exactly fit now into the GM organizational structure, and management was on the lookout for some way to show its technical expertise could be a value of the automobile company. Think about that. If they had done this first, they could have had GPSs that they could have had control of, and they could have controlled satellite GPSs and charged all the other car companies to use it. So they missed out on something that was pretty historic. So they had the technology, and they didn't really use it like they should have. So I don't know. I just think it's funny in a lot of ways. But that's what happens when you don't know what you got until it's gone. So, let me see if it says anything else that's worthwhile here. That's kind of... It says here, GM ended up steamrolling the competition at those Australia solar car races and folded the electric car in what became the first 1990 impact concept, and eventually the EV1 in 1996. Think about that. They had the whole thing there. They had all the technology to make an electric car, and to they owned the satellite technology, and they really blew it. They kind of, I mean, it's I don't know. It's kind of weird. There were other little projects too, including the almost completely forgotten 1996 SSC concept from Delco, which included integrated cell phone. That's 96. So 96, I didn't even have a cell phone till probably 2004, maybe later than that. And so you're thinking about a concept that had an integrated cell phone, heads-up display, adaptive cruise control, as well as front, rear, and side collision warnings using Hughes radar expertise. In an interim, Hughes, now divided into Hughes Electronics and Hughes Aviation, was still busy doing the same kind of military-industrial complex business as it always did, and by 1987 had become the nation's biggest defense electronics contractor. And the same year, it spent $105 million to buy MACOM, which accounted for more than half of the market in small Earth satellite stations for data transmission. Whew. This is a commercial for the electric car. Kind of funny. Well, they don't have any sound or anything for it. But they show the aerodynamics of the car, and that's interesting. It's pretty good. It's I mean, the car is sexy as anything, but they never really did anything with it. And here they are way behind the 8 ball by just tabling the electric car. If they had come out with the electric car in the 90s or even in the early 2000s, they could have been so far ahead of everybody else. But they found it as not a practical technology. And they sure are. I mean, the car looks really, really good. It looks like a sports car. And, you know, I like the design of it. Now, back then, we didn't have LED lights or anything like that, but the car was very aerodynamic. This kind of looks like a... trying to think what kind of car that was. It was... oh, shoot. The early Prius is similar to the design of them, but not really. But the car looks actually pretty good. It had a zoom, accelerate. I mean, it had all the things of cruise control. But I don't know. I just don't know why they didn't follow through. And somebody should be fired for not following through on that, because it's too late. I mean, you figure that's what, 2000. So let's say it was 1995, 90s, the 90s. So they were way ahead of their time, and they still didn't do it. They didn't pull the trigger. I guess at that point, there, of course, there's no infrastructure either. So, and who knows how many miles those cars got to the charge. So back then, it may have been too early. No one had the desire to put the time into it, to put the charging stations and all that stuff up like it is now. So it really would have changed everything if they had gone forward on that. But hey, you never know. You never know until, you know, that. And the AC line looked really kind of, it had its own charging cable, I guess, because it doesn't look like any cable that I've seen. But it really looks sporty, and it didn't have LEDs, but it did have pretty cool looking lights. And the LEDs certainly save it a lot of energy and stuff. So I don't know. I just think it's kind of funny how things come around like that. But that car, I wonder more about that car on you know, how many miles they would have got to the charge and stuff like that. I don't know. They didn't really talk about it, I don't believe. So I'm looking here and it doesn't say. But then it says here, the sale of detached Hughes Electronics, which ran DirecTV on the missile side of things. DirecTV made its full migration into the regular world broadcast media when News Corp bought it in 2003 after the FCC blocked an earlier sale of EchoStar. EchoStar was big. I used to sell EchoStar dishes. They were like, a lot of the, back when I sold them, the dishes were 10 foot, 12 foot, depending where you were at and how much signal you needed. But it says here, GM put the DirecTV up for sale in 2001. That's crazy stuff. Trying to see if it did. I don't see where it does say anything about what they did as far as... Yeah, it doesn't say. I'm curious, though. Wonder if... Oh, that's what I do. What was the name of that car? It was a... shoot, the car... Oh, Impact. GM Impact Electric. Let's kind of look and see if we can find anything on that. GM... Wonder if anybody did a... Let me see. Oh, yeah, they do have one in Wikipedia. That's interesting. Let's see what it says. Okay. Impact Electric. Electric car produced and leased by General Motors in 96 to 99. It was the first mass-produced all-purpose electric car in the modern era from the major automaker. And the first GM designed to be an electric car from the onset. So does it say how many miles? EPA, 78 miles or 142 miles, depending on what kind of batteries you got. And it had a 6.6 kilowatt MagnaCharge inductive converter. So, yeah, that tells you that, I mean, the Leaf really only got 75 miles, I think, too, when it was first come out. And so there you go. It's funny to think about something like that car. And it says, while the customer reaction to the EV1 was positive, GM believed that electric cars occupied an unprofitable niche of the automotive market and ended up crushing most of the cars, regardless of protesting customers. Furthermore, an alliance of major automakers litigated the CARB regulation in court, resulting in slacking of the ZEV stipulation, permitting companies to produce super low emissions vehicles, natural gas vehicles, and hybrid cars in place. That's true, because this EV ended in 2002, and all the cars were taken back by the owner under the terms of the lease. Leases were not given the option to purchase the cars, and they ended up crushing all the cars. So that's interesting, because I never knew any of that. And you think the Prius came out shortly after that. So let's see what year was the Prius originally made? I can't even spell Prius. Here we go. Prius. There we go. Toyota Prius. So the Toyota Prius was manufactured in 97. That was the hybrid. So you think about where it was in 97 to where it is now. It says 2018 Prius Eco ranked as the second most fuel-efficient car without a plug-in capability available in the U.S., following the Hyundai Ioniq Blue hybrid. The Prius went on sale in 97, and okay, trying to see. First generation, 97 to 2000. Second generation's 2000 to 3000. Third generation, or, well, wait a minute, second generation. Oh, NHW11, which is generation 2, but then it had a second generation, 2003 to 2009. So the 2006 I had was the second generation, and the third generation is 2009. Fourth generation is 2015. So, I don't know. I think the Toyota Prius could make a comeback, but I think for it to make a comeback, it needs to definitely do some things in it to make it more interesting. It looks like it hasn't been in the U.S. for 2 years. Interesting. Well, I did not know that. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, that shows you what I knew. Huh. I'll tell you what, though, that car lasted me. I had it for 11 years, and I just sold it, and it still runs fine. That, you talk about a car that runs forever. Those stupid cars run forever. So, anyway, they're saying that those things can get set on the Prius 4, 54 miles to the gallon. And looking here, with the plug-in, you could get 95 if you use it in a situation where you're plugging it in and charging it first. I wouldn't mind having another one. I would definitely buy another Prius, but I don't know. The thing is, with my Tesla, I love that Tesla so much that it's hard to get me back into a gas car. And my poor Jeep, it never gets driven. It just, I don't want to drive it because it's a Jeep. but it's a good car and it's strong and everything. But I'm like in love with my my Tesla. I don't really need to drive anything else. And the amount of electric that I use, I don't drive that much anymore. I'm lucky if I go out once a week, and if I don't once a week, I might go out twice a week, or not at all. So to me, it's not a big issue on driving, and it's kind of sad because I spend all that money on the Prius, but I'm not really using it because it's not. There's nowhere for me to go, especially with the stupid pandemic. By the way, I'm going to get my shot tomorrow. So, and strangely enough, I got a story. Johnson & Johnson. I will not get the Johnson & Johnson shot. I've said this before, that they killed Pam. Whether or not they want to admit it, and they will fight it till the day I die, and they would see if they knew I was talking about it. But they gave her the Energel, and I know that all the companies out there put out bad products, and they have a thing called the cost of doing business, and for every sale of something, they put money aside for lawsuits, because they know there's going to be a lawsuit, and a lot of stuff they rush to market to get, such as this Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and this time, there's a problem. The Georgia Department of Public Health shut down the vaccination site that was administering the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine last Wednesday after 9 people experienced adverse reactions from the shot. That's a problem. I mean, they rushed to get on the bandwagon, and it's not a good vaccine. I waited and waited. What was going on, and I'm hoping that's the one I get. I will not. When I go to do my shot tomorrow, if they have it as Johnson & Johnson, I will not get it. I refuse to get Johnson & Johnson because I don't trust Johnson & Johnson, and I hate them with a passion. They're high-priced lawyers, can talk their way out of anything, and I refuse to go through that. So, anyway. Additionally, 2 North Carolina vaccination sites, one in Colorado, administering Johnson & Johnson vaccine after recipients experienced fainting, dizziness, and nausea following the shot. 9 people were given the vaccination at Dick's Sporting Goods in Denver, were given juice and water to quell the symptoms, and 2 were transported to a nearby hospital. In North Carolina, 18 people experienced symptoms of dizziness, nausea, or faintness after receiving Johnson & Johnson at the PNC Arena. However, the CDC has found no safety issues with the vaccine and recommended the sites continue to issue the shot. I don't know if I dislike the CDC or if I dislike Johnson & Johnson more. Probably Johnson & Johnson more, but I don't trust them. And it says here, the company also faced vaccine production problems at its Baltimore plant. And, that's just problem after problem, as far as I'm concerned. They are the worst. I don't really want them to give vaccinations to people. I don't trust them. So, do what you want, being the public, but I refuse to do them. White Lives Matter rally. Okay, so we have the Black Lives Matter, we have the Asian Lives Matter, and most of the time it's the white policemen that end up screwing up, as we'll talk about later, in more later. But in this particular rally, they were not well received. The so-called White Lives Matter rally ended early in Orange County, California, since way more people showed up to counter the group's message and almost literally sent them packing out of town. The march went down Sunday afternoon in Huntington Beach, and several face-offs, mostly verbal, broke out, but this one came closest to getting physical when 3 men there supporting the rally quickly found themselves surrounded. We got a little video here. Let me see here. There it is. Now the thing about this one guy here on the right, he has this "Don't Tread on Me" shirt, and he even doesn't want to show his face. And the guys are just, they're seriously outnumbered. Just hard to believe that they actually would have come out for this thing and were that outnumbered. They're not going to start a fight because they are really outnumbered. That's amazing. Well, congratulations to those people that stood their ground and said, "We don't want you here." You know, they didn't seem to have a whole lot of people in their crowd, so yeah, that was interesting. But I'm glad that it ended up that way, and I'm glad that nobody got hurt. But that's still scary. So it's amazing. It's amazing that those people, like I said, they still come around and do what, what they want to preach hate, and it just really is such a shame. With this day and age, there just isn't room for that. Any age, it's not really any room for that, but that's a whole other thing. I'm very glad that the people stood up for their beliefs and got rid of them. So anyway, let me get rid of these. This is so bizarre. From hate to love. New York parent seeks okay to marry their own.
This is a real B&H customer.
To marry their own adult child. I don't even understand why you would marry your own adult child. I even feel weird about someone that is, say, 15 years younger than me or older. Well, I shouldn't say that. I did marry a woman that was 14 years older than me when I was 25. So I guess I can understand marrying an older person, but not my parent. I can't even imagine wanting to do that. Incest is a third-degree felony under New York law, punishable by up to 4 years behind bars. Well, that'll end the marriage real quick. Incestuous marriages are considered void, and the spouses are facing a fine of up to 6 months in jail. There's nothing I want bad enough to go to jail. Bad enough to go to jail for. So, says, I take my child to be lawfully wedded spouse. A New Yorker who wants to marry their own adult offspring is suing to overturn the laws barring incestuous practice, calling it a matter of individual autonomy. The pining parent seeks to remain anonymous because their request is an action that a large segment of society views as morally, socially, and biologically repugnant. Through the through the enduring bond of marriage, two persons, whatever relationship they might otherwise have with one another, can find greater level expression, intimacy, and spirituality, the parent argues in Manhattan federal court claim filed April 1st. Now, if this was an April Fool's joke, that would be okay. But I kind of think that they were serious about this. Legal papers give the barest picture of the would-be newlyweds failing to identify their age, gender, hometowns, or nature of relationship. The proposed spouses are adults, the filing says. The proposed spouses are biological parent and child. The proposed spouses are unable to procreate together. Well, if they're unable to procreate, what difference does it make? If they're unable to procreate, it's not, I mean, the real reason for it is because of children that ended up with issues if they mate. Think about, though, if the, oh man, this is really twisted. If you married let's say I married my daughter, and she had a baby, my daughter would be my daughter, the relationship with my daughter, let me think about this here. So my wife's sister would also be her daughter. Therefore, would that make me the grandfather or the father? Whew, messed up. I can't even, that blows my head. Anyway, incest is a third-degree felony under New York law, punishable by up to 4 years behind bars, and incestuous marriages are considered void, with the spouses facing a fine of up to 6 months in jail. Okay, so why is the one person only getting why is one person getting 4 years and the other person getting 6 months? They should both get the same sentence. Marriage license in 5 boroughs require potential spouses to list their birth parents and attest there are no legal impediments to the marriage. In 2004, a state appeals court unanimously approved a case involving a woman married to her mother's half-brother, noting the genetic relationship was equivalent of first cousins. But even that ruling cited an almost universal horror with which a parent-child marriage is viewed. Now, all right, the parent of the new case, in the new case, hears wedding bells when looking at their own child, their own kid. They want to propose, but would sustain emotional harm if they did so while the current laws are in effect. The parent wants to walk down the aisle in New York City and is asking a judge to declare the laws unconstitutional and unenforceable in their case, which the lawsuit dubs PAA-CNP for parent and adult child non-procreational. The parent and child couples for whom procreation is virtually or literally impossible can aspire to transcendent purposes of marriage and seek fulfillment in its highest meaning. The forebearer argues, claiming it would diminish their humanity if they were unable to tie the knot with the kid they conceived. See, that's just wrong on so many levels. I mean, I'm not even talking about just from the religious, but from, if you throw the religious in there, you're really, I mean, there's no way, but from strictly a medical purpose, a medical reason. I don't think that's, it says here, I don't think, let's see here. There are known cases of parents who separated from children in infancy only to reunite decades later and become romantic. I don't think there's a popular movement, but I think as long as we've kept records, there have been cases. It's an area where I think most people would say the government has a right to make the rules, even if they don't apply to every situation. Manhattan, family and matrimonial law attorney Eric Rubel said, it's never going to fly. The closest thing you can come is Woody Allen, and it wasn't his daughter. It was an adopted child whom he never adopted, and it still turns people's stomach. He also noted the pair in this recent case hasn't actually sought a marriage license yet, and since they haven't been denied any rights so far, the litigation is premature. The lawyer for the amorous parent did not return repeated messages for comment. The law department said it was not aware of the litigation. I don't know. It's really, it's too much for me to understand. I don't know what to think about that, but I don't think they're going to receive a legal okay to do it. They're going to have to find other ways to do it if that's what they want. Prosecutors described the video of a police officer shooting a 13-year-old boy. Now, I don't know. I mean, there's times that you could say, okay, if the 13-year-old boy was threatening the police officer, but couldn't you? I mean, I guess 13-year-old boys aren't what they were when I was a kid because they're much bigger. But here's a story. Prosecutors on Saturday provided a detailed account where of what happened, the fatal shooting of a 13-year-old Adam Lido by a Chicago officer, as the judge set bond at $150,000 for the 21-year-old man who was a teen at the time. All right, let's see if we can figure this out. Okay, there's a video involved in this, so maybe we can figure it out with the video. So let's see what the video says. I can figure out how to play this.
Adam Toledo shooting from nearly 2 weeks ago. This man, who was allegedly with Toledo the night the 13-year-old was shot by police, faces felony gun charges. NBC5's V. Wynn is live at 26 in California with that story. V?
Yeah, Alex, that man was already on probation for a gun case in Skokie, and now he's facing even more gun and child endangerment charges for what prosecutors say happened nearly 2 weeks ago. Now, just hours ago, 21-year-old Ruben Roman appeared in Bond court. He's been charged with reckless discharge of a firearm, unlawful use of a weapon by a felon, and child endangerment. We learned from prosecutors in court today that multiple cameras captured Roman and 13-year-old Adam Toledo walking together in the neighborhood on March 29th. Prosecutors Prosecutors say Roman is seen on camera firing multiple shots at a passing car, prompting 2 officers to respond to the area. Both fled from officers and there was a chase. One officer arrested Roman and the other pursued Toledo. This is the first time we're hearing details about the police shooting. Prosecutors say the officer ordered Toledo to stop and to, quote, drop it. Prosecutors say Toledo turned towards the officer. They say he had a gun in his right hand, and that's when the officer shot him in the chest, killing him. The city is preparing to release that body cam video to his family, and according to Mayor Lori Lightfoot, that will happen early next week. Here's what she had to say about the video release.
But I'm going to be respectful of what Ms. Toledo wants to do. She will have the opportunity to see the video along with her counsel early next week, and then we'll go from there. We're going to hopefully follow their lead in this.
Wow.
Now back here at the
That's crazy
courthouse,
stuff.
Roman's bond was set at $150,000. His next court date is scheduled for the 19th. Reporting live from 26 and
That's crazy stuff. I mean, geez. So it says here the Roman was represented by a public defender. So apparently Roman had the gun, but at some point he gave it to the child, Adam Toledo. If they are talking correctly, if I understand what they said. So it says here, the Cook County's Attorney Office revealed that the video captured Roman firing shots to the Little Village shooting in the early morning hours of March 29th. After a number of shots were fired, Roman and Toledo ran northbound on Sawyer Avenue near 24th Street and entered an alley. Chicago officers who responded to shot spotter alert that detected 8 rounds of gunfire observed 2 men in an alley who fled. At one point, officers exited their patrol vehicle and pursued both individuals. One officer apprehended Roman, who prosecutors said dropped red gloves on the ground during his arrest. Those gloves tested positive for gunshot residue. The other officer chased Toledo, repeatedly telling him to stop, and eventually the 13-year-old stopped near a break in a wooden fence. Toledo was standing with his left side facing the officer and holding his hand to his right side, and was ordered by the officer to show his hands. I think that sounds fairly normal so far. The officer told the teen to drop it, as Toledo, with a gun in his hand, turned towards the officer. The officer opened fire, striking the teen once in the chest. The gun he was holding landed. Okay, so in this case, I really, just from, if the video shows that, I don't have any problem with him shooting a 13-year-old. Because the 13-year-old had a gun in his hand, and he didn't drop it like he was supposed to. So the officer called for medical assistance and started performing chest compressions. He died at the scene. The 13-year-old right hand tested positive for gunshot residue, and fired shell casings from the near where Roman fired shots matched a 9mm handgun that was recovered near Toledo. If that is true, I understand. So it says outrage that has enveloped the city since the shooting, with the teen's family and supporters calling for immediate release of the body camera video footage. I mean, if this video is correct, how can you say that Adam Toledo didn't get justice? Because he was carrying a gun illegally, by the way. He did not drop the gun. Now, if he did drop the gun and then he shot, and then the police officer shot, that's a whole different thing. But if he had a gun, he should have never been out with the one guy to begin with, and he should have not. He should have dropped it. So I guess at this point, we need to see the footage to know whether or not that is true. But a 13-year-old kid, that's sad. That's really sad. You know, you think about these things, you just don't think that kind of stuff is going to happen to your kid. Because it shouldn't happen to your kid. It shouldn't. There's just no way that should have happened. But I just think that there's a lot of things the police have done wrong. In this particular case, I don't think they did it wrong. So, that's my opinion, not necessarily that of the police or of the public. So, all right, next. Three young kids found stabbed to death in Reseda apartment. Mother arrested after suspected carjacking. Now, this I will never understand this thing, because why would a mother stab her kids? I mean, I felt when I was with my one ex that had kids that I would like to stab them, but I never stabbed them. And so I don't know. I can't understand it. I really can't. Here's the story as we got from the people.
On Developing News, we've been following in Reseda for the past 24 hours or so. A mother there accused of killing her own 3 young children. She's been arrested after a suspected carjacking. NBC4's Christine Kim right now live in Reseda, where a memorial is growing for those kids. Good morning, Christine.
Mikala, this is really a sad and heartbreaking story that really shocked this neighborhood. And what we're seeing at this hour right now is a memorial, a growing memorial outside the gates of this apartment complex with candles and flowers for the 3 children who police say were killed by their own mother. Now, all day yesterday and into the night, LAPD homicide investigators were at the apartment where the children, ages 3, 2, and 6 months old, were found dead, discovered by their grandmother in the morning. Police say the children's mother, 30-year-old Liliana Carrillo, was missing from the apartment off of Reseda Boulevard, south of Roscoe Boulevard. When they got there around 9:30 yesterday morning, she was named as a prime suspect, and investigators say she carjacked a victim near Bakersfield and was arrested in Tulare County, nearly 200 miles away.
She did a horrific crime here. She followed it up by another crime north of here, and it's those behaviors that ultimately got her caught.
Wow.
People living in this neighborhood just can't believe this happened, wishing the mother would have received the help she may have needed. By the way, this type of crime is also very difficult on the first responders who had to work this call. LAPD says they have mental health experts on hand to get them the help they might need. Back out here live. There's another look of stuffed animals at this growing memorial here. Police say the Department of Children and Family Services is also involved in this investigation. They couldn't tell us if there were any previous cases open with the family or any information about the children's father. We're live from Reseda. I'm Christine.
That's just so sad. I mean, these children, they were 3, 2, and 6 months old. They never had a chance to live. That's so sad. And the one was 6 months and 23 days old. Oh, I don't get it. Does it say anything that it doesn't say why? The father doesn't even, he's not been located. He could be dead too, for all we know. So that's sad. This next one is sad on the other way. Actually, I should probably show the... okay, so this video shows a cop's death during a traffic stop. All he did was he pulled someone over for something, and the guy shot him down. And that's what I heard first, and then after that I had another video or another thing to talk about. But here is grisly video, shows New Mexico cops shooting was shot to death during a traffic stop. So, let's see if we can do this. Figure out. There we go. Now, where's the audio? Oh, here we go. So he was just doing a basic traffic stop. All right, this is another one of those that won't let me do the video. It won't let me. Okay. Damn it. Ugh. I really need. I wonder if we could do this through. Let's see. I think if there's a volume control that I can do this on the. This is a real pain in the butt. Why would they use this program? Let me see. I've got another video of this though. I'll show this one. It's the dash cam of the whole thing, and it's really scary. And it shows you what our police actually go through in a traffic stop that you would have never ever imagined being you think it would be okay. So he's writing a ticket up or whatever, but you don't know what's going on. And it's really scary. I can get this thing. Oh, of course, there's got to be a commercial. Of course, there's a commercial. A new New Mexico State Police are revealing a harrowing moment on Officer Darian Jarrett, who was disgustingly gunned down in cold blood when he pulled over a drug dealer armed with an assault weapon. Oh, it's the same video. His body cam too.
Afternoon, sir. My name's Darren Jarrett. I'm with New Mexico State Police. The reason for the stop is your window tint's a little too dark. Yeah. You mind if I open the door? Or if you want to roll down the window more. Dark? Yeah. I noticed you got temp tags. You got a registration for the vehicle? Yes, sir. I'll need registration and your driver's license as well. Come with me to my vehicle. That way I can run your name and date of birth, and then that way I can get my return, okay? Go ahead. Shut the vehicle off. If you want, it's up to you. Well, I know. That'll work. Grab the phone and come with me to my vehicle so I can get the return, and then I can make sure that everything's good. Okay.
Now this is where went bad.
I gotta do.
You thought it was just.
Hey, real quick. You have a firearm? Yeah. Oh no, I see it. Please, do me a favor. Do you mind if I take it off you for my safety? All right, hold on.
Asking for a firearm, whether he has a firearm.
Let's go to my vehicle, okay? Come on. Oh shit!
That was it. He had an automatic weapon, which is probably illegal. And I jumped in his car and took off. The guy's dead in the rough side of the road. I just, the thing is that you're on camera, and your information and your, information for the vehicle and all that stuff, and that guy's dead now. They tried to save him, but it's just so sad. This guy has a family and everything, and boom. It says here, Jarrett apparently saw a weapon inside the truck as he was stepping out of the vehicle and asked Suerva if he could take it off. As he put it, for my safety. Those would be Jarrett's last words. As he stepped out of the truck, Jarrett couldn't see him lift the AR-15 style rifle, which put it into the officer as they got to the back. And you could hear him say, "Oh." And Just really, really, really sad. So I don't know. That guy says while Department of Homeland Security officer arrived and tried to save Jarrett's life, a 40-mile pursuit of Suevo was just beginning. Police eventually tracked him down on the highway using a pit maneuver to spin his truck. Sueva initiated an all-gun battle with the cops and was killed in the hail of return fire. Las Cruces PD officer Adrian de la Garza was injured in the shootout but survived the treatment. Police are still investigating the fatal accident as Sareva had an extensive violent criminal record. So apparently the guy had all kinds of drugs in his car too. So just sad, beyond sad. And, lost a good police officer who was just doing his job. So, yeah. Unfortunately, we lost one of the good ones rather than the bad ones that try to kill the people. An American faces years in prison in a Dubai prison after pot was found in his urine. You know, you really don't want to take drugs like that, even just pot, to a place that is that anti-drugs. That's a bad thing. I mean, here, you can do it here legally if you in a lot of states. You don't need to take it over there. And if you're going over there and you take it, you're in your own. An American man who allegedly smoked and ingested pot in Las Vegas faces 3 years of prison in the United Arab Emirates after traces of marijuana were found days later in his urine. Oh, well then, okay, so he screwed up because it was days later. They didn't have it there. Peter Clark, 51, flew from Vegas to Dubai on February 24th, where he went to the hospital after suffering a heart attack of pancreatitis. Doctors there saw traces of hashish in his urine, and that's considered possession in the UAE, and reported Clark to the authorities. He was arrested on March 3rd and spent 3 days in a flea-ridden cell before being allowed back in his hotel where he awaits his fate. He recorded a video of his ordeal after getting out of jail. Lost a ton of weight, no shower, no food, nothing to drink since I got here, no sleep. UAE's arbitrarily enforcement of laws and lack of predictable legal outcomes means that Peter potentially faces years in prison for illegally smoking marijuana, and even if innocent, he can be dragged through a slow, costly process. Clark claims he bought no drugs in Dubai, nor consumed or purchased drugs while he was there. He's not the first Westerner. See, now this is a thing that maybe our political people should be stepping in, because if he didn't consume any drugs illegally in there, and he is legal here, then maybe we should have some kind of negotiation. So, I don't know. Kind of weird. Here's another strange thing. So, it's cheaper to go overseas to get some of these operations. And here's a case where someone got in trouble. Irish moms reportedly arrested for refusing to quarantine after a boob job trip. Oh boy. So 2 Irish moms have reportedly been busted at a Dublin airport for refusing to quarantine after traveling to Dubai for boob jobs. Kirsty McGrath, 30, and Niam Mulraney, 25, were arrested after their flight from American Arab Emiratis landed. The 2 Dublin women were charged with breaking the country's Health Act after a judge questioned whether their trip for breast enhancement surgery was essential travel. Now, it depends, I guess, how big of boobs they had before. And people are nuts. I just can't imagine what goes on in some of their heads. The judge said their procedures were locally referred as a boob job. McGrath, the mother of 2, and Mulroney, mother of 1, pleaded to their lawyer, Michael French, to be released on bail, arguing that they were unaware of the regulations amid the pandemic. That could be. I mean, it could be. I can't imagine it being that. Oh, well. I don't know. How long would they be in jail? Doesn't say, does it? I don't know. French argued that his clients had children to care for and also provided 3 negative COVID-19 tests in last week and could isolate at home and not in a hotel. He said they would contest the charges, arguing it was a relatively minor offense. The lawyer argued that infected people are allowed to quarantine at home and are not subject to the same restrictions as the hotel quarantine measures that the travelers face. Well, that's just, I don't know. He also told the judge that women did not have the money for a hotel quarantine. The judge granted bail, but his conditions included a requirement to freeze the women's bank accounts, which the lawyer said could not be accomplished until the banks reopened Tuesday. Oh, man. I am so glad that I don't travel abroad. Oh, things you have to do. It says here, a 25,000, I guess that's lire, maybe it's pound, I don't know, or about $3,000 fee for their accommodations was sought. The court said, breaking the new 14-day quarantine can result in a 2,000, whatever that is, pound, I guess, fine, and a sentence of up to a month in the slammer. That's a lot. That's crazy. Oh, this world's insane. All for a boob job. Maybe you should have left your boobs alone. Maybe the judge doesn't like bigger boobs. I don't know. This one, this next story is really bizarre. And I'm going to play it here for you. Here we go.
Police body cam footage showing police officers escalate a traffic stop of an Army lieutenant has been viewed more than 9 million times online over the weekend. The video, taken in December 2020, showed 2 Windsor, Virginia, police officers pull over 2nd Lieutenant Karen Nazario, who is black and Latino, before drawing their guns and using pepper spray on him. During the exchange, Nazario, who was driving and dressed in uniform, held his hands outside the SUV window and told the officers, Daniel Crocker and Joe Gutierrez, he was honestly afraid to get out. Response: Gutierrez told the lieutenant, yeah, you should be. At one point, Gutierrez also told Nazario he was fixing to ride the lightning, a reference to execution by electric chair in the 1999 film The Green Mile. The officers later struck Nazario, who had since exited the vehicle, numerous times in the legs, which forced him to the ground and continued to question the lieutenant. Nazario was not charged following the incident. A 1-minute and 8-second video of the exchange has been viewed more than 9 million times since it was uploaded to Twitter on Friday. The post has been retweeted more than 17,600 times. A near 7-minute long video, obtained by the Virginian pilot, has been viewed more than 600,000 times on YouTube since it was posted on Thursday, April 8. Crocker and Gutierrez's handling of the stop also sparked calls for further investigation of the officer's conduct. Dr. Errol Southers, former Assistant Chief of Homeland Security for the LA Airport's Police Department, told Newsweek an independent investigation should be launched in order to provide accountability and transparency to the public. He added, the department should never be allowed to investigate this misconduct. They should not be allowed to investigate themselves. There needs to be some oversight here. Suthers continued, I think they deserve an investigation and the outcome should be disciplined, up to and including termination. Former Chief of Police of the Seattle Police Department, Carmen Best, told Newsweek that an independent review would remove the potential for subjective evaluation of the data and provide more confidence in the information coming forward. Army veteran David Weissman said in a tweet, which included the clip, as a veteran, and as a human being, I demand you hold officers Daniel Crocker and Joe Gutierrez accountable for their police brutality assault of Lieutenant Karen Nazario. A lawyer representing Nazario filed a lawsuit against the two officers earlier this month, claiming they violated the lieutenant's First and Fourth Amendment rights. The lawsuit, seen by Newsweek, said Nazario is seeking damages in the amount of $1 million. Events surrounding the case are disputed and the officers said they used force after Nazario did not exit his SUV. In a report filed following the altercation, Crocker said over the radio that he was attempting to stop an SUV that had no license plate and that the driver was eluding police. Gutierrez drove nearby when he heard Crocker's call and observed his colleague attempting to make the traffic stop and joined him. Nazario was found to have had a temporary license plate taped to the inside of his rear window and that it was visible by the time the two officers reached the SUV. The vehicle was new and Nazario had not yet been issued with permanent plates. Nazario also said he did not try to elude police, but was looking for a well-lit place to stop and later pulled the SUV into a nearby gas station.
Okay. So, as he said, it was a bad situation. So the, I guess I can't use this
elude police.
This guy here again because he turned into a blockhead. Looks like his head turned into a block of Trash Talking Radio. So next time we'll have to move him a little bit to the side if we're going to use him again. Anyway, so yeah, there's a follow-up to this story. And the follow-up just is kind of like that. Hold on here, I gotta figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, so I can't do it that way. I can do it this way. All right, do this. Okay. So share, Twitter. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Hold on here. What are you doing? There we go. There we go. Now we do this. Okay. Then wait a minute. Where'd it go? Man, getting old in my old age. Boom. And the one thing I didn't do. Okay, so we got this guy. Also, I forgot to do this. Gotta do her too. So that I make sure that all those things are done. Got her to do the stuff. Okay. Come on. Go. Now I can close that stuff. So the he's a service guy and he actually got all this hassle from these police officers, and so he's suing the police officer. And an update today: a cop was fired for pepper spraying a black Army lieutenant during a traffic stop, the exact same one. And you know what? Good for them. Good for him. Because there was just no... I saw the video footage, and the video footage did not show anything that indicated he should have been pepper sprayed at all. And I just thought it was just disgusting. It was disgusting that we saw this. Not only... Even if he wasn't in the armed forces, it was still wrong. And this is here's the video. to see what was going on. And it's just really, really, really scary that this even happened. You know, you want to think that it doesn't happen. It does. So, and this is I guess this is well, we don't even have sound on it. Well, what's going on here? Let's go. Here now we got sound. Let's get a little faster. Let's go further.
Felony traffic stop.
Put your hands out the window! Felony traffic stop, 1836.
Put your hands out the window! Put your hands out the window! How many occupants?
All units 213, 804, 803, felony stop. 18 Windsor, 1 East Windsor.
Oh, wait a minute. They're not even showing the footage of the... They're not showing that footage. They're showing part of the footage. They're not showing the part that he was pulled over, and this is after they've already pulled him over. Okay. Because, like, the whole time, if you watch the footage, let me see here. This one, there we go. Here we go. This is the footage. Wait a minute, is that the same footage?
Open the door slowly and step out! How many occupants are in your vehicle? Open the door slowly and step out!
Now wait a minute, let's see. There's another video from the standpoint of the person himself. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let's go here. Where they played the whole thing as far as the footage was from inside the, let's see, this is the NPR one. New York Post would have been the right one. Oh, no, it's wrong. I need to delete that because I'm called it up 3 times now. So it must have been just 2 videos. Okay. And then the other one. Okay. They showed the footage the footage I saw. Oh, well, that's because it was a site that I couldn't access because I don't pay for it. It's body camera footage. It's this one.
What are you, a specialist, Corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
He had been sprayed already. He was cooperating the whole time. He was saying, "What did I do? What did I do? What did I do?" And they. I wish I could see the rest of it. They're not showing footage that's important about this. Let's see if I can get the rest of the footage. I thought I had all of it, but it's not. It is not. Let's see. Because he didn't do anything wrong. He just kept saying, "What did I do? What did I do?" And it should have been, pretty clear about what he did, because... But the problem is, this is not showing the right footage.
How many occupants are in your vehicle? Open the door slowly and step out! Open the door!
And I wondered why there was... they were drawing their guns on the guy. Although he didn't stop when they first pulled him up. When they put the lights on, he pulled over at a gas station that's well lit about a mile after the lights came on. But there was no indication. I mean, they said they pulled him over because they couldn't see his tags, which were in the window. You could see him as you got closer. But by now, there's 3 cop cars there, and they're demanding more information.
What's going on? You're
He's saying,
fixing to
what's
ride the
going on?
lightning, son.
So he says, "What's going on?" And the police officer says, "You're preparing to ride the lightning," which was used in Last Mile. What's the freaking movie? Anyway, but he meant they're going to use a taser on him if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do.
Get out of the car now! Get out of the car now! Get out of the car!
Sir, just get out the car. Work with us and we'll talk to you. Get out the car.
You received an order. Obey it.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah, you should be. Get out. Get out.
Get out the car.
Get out now.
I have not committed any crime.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest for. You're being detained. Okay, you're being detained for obstruction of justice.
Traffic violation. I do not have to get out the vehicle. You haven't even told
Really?
me why I'm being stopped.
Really? Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me.
Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me.
Not a problem. Back up there.
I didn't do anything. Don't do that.
Sir, get out of the car now.
Hey, sir.
Get out of the car now.
Sir, I'm trying to talk.
Get out.
To you. Okay. I'm trying to talk.
Get out.
Just get out of my car. Can you please relax?
Get out.
Please relax.
Get out of the car right now. Now.
This is not how you treat a vet. I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're going to treat me.
Back up.
I didn't do anything.
Back up.
Whoa, hold on.
Daniel.
What's going? Hold on. You out here?
Get out of the car. Get out of the car now.
That's fucked up.
Get out of the car now.
Sir, just get out of the car. I'm trying to breathe.
Get out of the car now.
Fucked up. That's really fucked up.
Yeah, get out of the car and get on the ground now. You're going to get it again.
I don't even want to reach my seatbelt.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Get out of the car now. Listen, take off your seatbelt and get out of the car.
Look, I'm just gonna please.
You're gonna do what you're told. Get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the. Take your seatbelt off.
Look, my hands are out.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
My hands are out.
Don't reach in there, Daniel. Don't reach in there.
My hands are out. Please. Please. Look, this is really messed up. My dog is in the back. My dog is choking right now.
Get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. You made this way more difficult than it had to be. You just complied. Get out of the car.
I'm reaching for my seatbelt.
Fine. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Straight on the ground. Straight onto the ground.
Ma'am. Is your commanding officer available?
Down. Let's go.
Is your commanding
Let's
officer
go.
available?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground or you're getting sprayed again. Get on the ground.
Can you please talk to me about what's
Get on the ground. Get on the ground now.
Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Yes, sir. Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Why am I being treated like this? Why?
Because you're not cooperating. Get on the ground.
Why am I being treated like this? This is really messed up. This is really messed up. Sir, just work with me. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. This is fucked up.
And they didn't charge him with anything. So I can tell you this is not the last we've heard this guy's name. He was really screwed up. I mean, that whole thing was messed up, and there's just no reason that the police officer should have, taken things out on him. The whole time he was saying, "What am I being charged with? What's going on? Tell me what's going on." And they, the police officers should have at least given him, talked to him like a person, not like a criminal. And now they're going to pay for it. So I think Lieutenant Karen Nazario is going to make some money off this. It's such a shame that we have to waste our government money on stupidity. on the fact that the cop would not tell him what was going on. And it's just, there's no reason at all that I could see that they had to do that. I don't know. I just think it was wrong. It was wrong on so many levels. Because he kept saying, what's going on? What's going on? I just want to know what's going on. Well, and the fact that the dog had to choke from that too. And, yeah. Well, I really hope he gets paid for this, because he didn't do anything that I could see it was wrong. And the sad thing is, the cops were wrong in doing what they were doing and how they handled it. So, anyway, a whole other thing. Here's another one. You're not going to let me do this, are you? To do this too? Continue with Facebook, maybe. Try that. Okay. So this has been going for quite a while. Brooklyn Center police fatally shoot man 20, inflaming tensions during the Derek Chauvin trial. A man 20 killed after being pulled over for a traffic violation in the Brooklyn Center. This is crazy. This stuff is happening far too much, and I just don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, if you're a policeman and you're so scared that you've got to shoot someone, there's a lot of policemen that are wrongly policemen because they obviously are not following the law themselves. It says a Brooklyn Center police officer fatally shot a man during a traffic stop Sunday afternoon, inflaming already raw tensions between police and community members in the midst of the Derek Chauvin trial. Relatives of Dante Wright, who's black, told a tense crowd gathered at the scene at the northern Minneapolis suburb Sunday afternoon that Wright drove for a short distance after he was shot, crashed his car, and died at the scene. Protesters later walked to the Brooklyn Center police headquarters near North 67th Street and North Humboldt Avenue and were locked in a standoff with police in riot gear. Officers repeatedly ordered the crowd of about 500 to disperse as protesters chanted Wright's name and climbed top police headquarters sign, then covered it in graffiti. Police fatally shot. Okay, it says here, several hours after the police fatally shot Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center on Sunday afternoon, looters targeted. See, the looters part I don't understand, because if you're a store and you didn't have anything to do with the shooting, this is the thing I don't understand. And anyway, around the Shingle Creek Crossing shopping mall and about 2 miles away at the Brooklyn Center police headquarters, nearly 500 protesters faced off with the officers. National Guard troops arrived just before midnight as looters targeted the Brooklyn Center Walmart. Looting was widespread late Sunday and into early Monday, spilling into North and South Minneapolis. Reports that stores in Uptown and Lake Street were also looted. Brooklyn Center Mayor Mike Elliott issued a curfew until 6 a.m. See, I don't get it. The whole thing just drives me nuts that this is still happening, and it shouldn't be happening. This is everybody's got to get smart about what they're doing. I don't know. It says after the shooting, Brooklyn Center police said officers pulled over a vehicle for a traffic violation shortly before 2 p.m. and the driver, who had a warrant, got back into the vehicle as officers were trying to take him into custody. That's when an officer discharged his weapon, striking the driver, and the vehicle vehicle, or was it? I hate when these ads change, because then they shift my words so I can't find it here. The officers, let's see here. The driver who had a warrant got back in the vehicle. His officers were trying to take him into custody. That's when an officer discharged a weapon, striking him. The vehicle traveled several blocks before crashing into another vehicle. He is pronounced dead at the scene. I don't know. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. Because, I mean, was his life worth just a warrant, whatever the warrant was? I don't know. Because all he did was have air fresheners in the car, and they told him to get out of the car. Wright said, explaining that her son called her when he was getting pulled over. During the call, she said she heard scuffling and someone saying, "Dante, don't run," before the phone call ended. When she got back, her son's girlfriend answered, and Dante had been shot. Now the car, and his girlfriend said they shot him. He got back in the car, and he drove away and crashed. Now he's dead on the ground. Nobody will tell us anything. I mean, this one's a little different than the other ones, because he was wanted for a warrant. But I don't know. I don't know if it was worth killing him. I don't know. Oof. I just think that there needs to be something to stop all this death from happening. This one's so bizarre. Well, maybe this is the same one we had earlier, though. Trying to see if this is the one. We had that one earlier. Oh, maybe this is the same one. Let me take a look here. We got to look at the. Got to look at something here, because if this is the same one, it's a follow-up to it. Let's see. Let's see. One about the mother who killed 3 kids. Let's see if that's the same one. 3 kids found stabbed. Okay. That was in Los Angeles. Where's this one at? Let's see if this is the same one. In Reseda. Okay, so this one's in. Denton. I don't think it's the same one. Maybe it's a different one. Another 3 kids died? Maybe they... Oh, it is the same one. Okay. Okay, that's the same one. Just a different... Okay, so this is an update, I guess. In a story, it talks about a custody dispute involving 3 children. And it says they spelled the father's name wrong. Eric Denton, not Eric with a C, Eric with a K. That's the only... Oh, that's the only difference. I guess that was... So I wonder what happened to him, if they figured out where he is. I wonder if that's him. See if it's Eric. Nope. Alright, so we don't know what's going on with Eric Denton. Then we had this yesterday. Armed student and officer involved shooting at Austin East High School.
Because NetSuite shows me all my financials in one place, we stay focused on...
Too many deaths. Too many freaking deaths. And they're just happening all the time. For things that we can't understand. It doesn't, doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, let's see if we can get this together. There we go. Okay. This happened in Tennessee, and here's what we got.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for WVLT News at 11. I'm Amanda Hera.
It's just another blow to a community riddled with violence. 4 students from that high school have already been killed by gun violence so far this year. Here's what we know at this hour. Around 3:15, Knoxville police say they got a report of someone armed at Austin East, and that when they got to the school, they found a male student armed with a gun inside of a bathroom. They say he refused to come out, fired at one of the officers, hitting one of them. Investigators say one officer fired back and that a student died on the scene, but it is not clear if their gunfire killed that student. That's part of the investigation. That officer, though, is in serious condition at UT Medical Center. He suffered a leg injury in the shooting and at last check was in surgery. Social media posts from at least one student show confusion in the aftermath of the shooting. This is a look inside the school hallways there and also a look outside. We heard from family members who said their relatives were students inside and simply terrified, not really fully understanding what was going on. You see here an officer just bolting towards the school. It was placed on lockdown until students could be reunited with their families. Will Puckett following the latest developments for us tonight. Will, let's start with the one big important thing that we need to make sure people at home understand. We do not know how that student died.
Yeah, Amanda, that's the most important point of the entire part of this is we are still awaiting word on how that student died here at Austin East. Things are very quiet here tonight, aside from the occasional KAT transit bus that passes by and a noticeable still strong police presence, a handful of KPD cruisers still passing by, circling the high school. They're making their presence known after this now 5th gun violence death in the Austin East community. But still tonight, more questions than answers are on the minds of the people of this community. Let's run through that timeline from today again. 3:15 this afternoon, around then, KPD officers responded to Austin East High School on reports of someone in the building with a weapon. They said suspect inside of a bathroom of the school. They ordered that person out. That person refused. Officers then made an attempt to enter the bathroom when gunfire was exchanged. Like you mentioned, a KPD officer is at UT Medical Center tonight, shot in the leg. An Austin East student, we don't have a name, we don't have an age, is dead in the course of that gunfire exchange. Again, we don't know how he died, if it was an officer who shot him or any other aspect of that. But Chief of Police Eve Thomas was listening and paying attention to this all playing out. In a news conference tonight, you can hear the emotion in her voice.
It's just very chilling. First of all, to hear we have an officer down, and secondly, that it was at a school. It's a sad day for the Knoxville and our community and our police department. I intend to head that way afterward so I can hopefully see him when he gets out of surgery.
Very shortly before that, Superintendent of School Bob Thomas, as well as Mayor India Kincannon, held a news conference to update very briefly the entire situation. Mayor Kincannon, before it was announced by TI that a student had been shot and killed, said that someone very close to the Austin East community died in this event. Like we said before, Amanda, and we can't reiterate this enough, it is not determined how this Austin East student died. Officers have stopped short of saying it was a result of that gunfire exchange. Obviously, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI, is investigating this as they do with all officer-involved shootings across the state of Tennessee, but most notably, the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm aspect of the federal government, are on scene investigating. Their main objective is to find out, Amanda, how that student died.
Yeah, and they say that's a big role that they're playing tonight. They actually said they could have that information as early as tonight, but that it probably would not be shared with us immediately. Will Puckett reporting for us tonight. Will.
My opinion is that if he was there with a gun, I don't really care how he died. I don't really care. If he was there on a school property with a gun, I don't really care if the cop shot him or if, or why he died. I just think that that's crazy stuff. So, what happened here? I lost. Oh, we're back. Okay, on my Facebook, it seemed to stop, but everything else seemed to be going weird. Anyway, so I don't care how he died. If he was in a school with a gun, I think that that's the end result of what happens when you're in a school with a gun. End of story. You know, if he gave up himself, he would probably still be alive, but he didn't. So anyway, all right. Let's see. I want to talk about the. Let me see here. How much time we got here? Okay. I want to talk about Aptera a little bit. Aptera is getting closer to letting people
want to know the most
enjoy their Aptera car.
Approaching women, but have no clue.
This is not going to work well. Let me see here. I'm trying to think how we can do this. Am I going to do this? Is this? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So I'll just do this. Okay. Okay. Now we can skip the ad.
Hey, just wanted to give everyone an update on our...
That's the CEO of Aptera, so in case you never saw him before, that's him. And they talk about, well, I'll let him
recent track testing. We had a great day out at the Verona drag strips, testing the Aptera for durability and speed and braking and all the fun things that make Aptera the kind of performance vehicle that you'll want to be in. The main goal of the day was really just to shake these alpha vehicles out to make sure that they're safe to drive on the roads around San Diego. We wanted to do aggressive braking, aggressive handling, and obviously some accelerations. We're still tuning our Lafe motors and the control systems that run them, so it was great to be out on the track to be able to get some live data and see how they perform under stress. We got some amazing initial results and even did some drag races. And we wanted to see how our lightweight vehicle handled in aggressive braking scenarios, and to be honest, the results were just amazing, as you'd expect from a very light aerodynamic vehicle that has tons of regenerative torque from the in-wheel motors. We also wanted to see how the Aptera would perform under aggressive handling situations, so we...
This is really kind of cool, because they had this track that they could test on, and they were testing all kinds of things. I mean, you would think with a three-wheeled vehicle you weren't going to be able to get away with much, but it's kind of cool how much handling this car actually has without all the things that are going to be at it, like some of the handling things, some of the sway bars or whatever it is that they're going to use on that.
Ran some basic moose test scenarios where we had some aggressive handling that proved that the Aptera is very well balanced, even though we're just at the beginning of our suspension development. The overall results of our first track day is that the Aptera Alpha units are performing spectacularly. Acceleration, braking, handling, we're all above expectations, and we can't wait to spend the next few months with our engineers and vendors to design beta units that are even better. One of the things that really excited me was the handling of the Aptera in this very early alpha stage. The stability is great under high-speed, stressful situations. The vehicle's very balanced and feels comfortable to drive, and we know that by adding a sway bar and tuning the suspension more, things are only going to get better. Our acceleration
kind of looks cool because from the back, it looks like a three-wheeled motorcycle, and in fact, I don't believe it's going to be licensed as a car. I think it'll probably be licensed as a motorcycle, but I'm not sure about that for sure.
Test went very well. The Aptera is brisk under acceleration, and it's pretty exciting to drive. We know that working with our partners in Slovenia at Lafe, the motor tuning will only get better, and we'll see acceleration times increase as we bring in our own battery technologies too.
They didn't really talk about, where is it? That's not.
Do you know about the average adult?
That's not it. I wanted to know where was that article at that I got that from? Oh, here it is. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay, so they actually raced. They were racing the Chevy Bolt with a B, not V, and they beat the Bolt every time. I thought that was kind of cool. because you're talking about, you know, it's a lot lighter than the Bolt, and it's a lot lighter than most cars that are out there. And like I said, I don't believe, I think I read it on here, where it said that, where's it? Reservations, let's see, speed, did moose testing, hard braking and acceleration, and I want to see, I think that it said that it had to do with, where's it at? It said something, must have been something, it said something about that it's not going to be car tags that it's going to be. So, kind of interesting. I kind of thought that was pretty interesting because it's not going to be, it's going to be cheaper to license probably than a car. So, I don't know, I kind of wish I could remember where I saw that. I don't see it though. That's the same thing that I want to do, is make sure that I send the information through correctly. Let's see. There it is. This is going to be an interesting car, because, I mean, or vehicle, I guess I should say, because I don't know if it'll be a car or not, but with all the things that I've seen on it, it really does look like it's going to be a pretty awesome vehicle. And if they do this right, I think they're going to get a lot of people excited. I mean, face it, how many people do you usually drive around in your vehicle in? And a lot of people, they don't drive in with more than, you know, they don't drive with more than two people. In my car, I rarely go in my car with more than one person, maybe two. And sometimes I go with three when I include my dog. So I think that that's going to be a neat thing, because for the majority of the people out there, it's going to be plenty of vehicle, and you're going to get all kinds of gas mileage, or electric mileage, I should say. So I really find it interesting that the vehicle is getting as much traction as it is. And I'm excited about it, because it's going to be a good vehicle for everybody. Everybody that wants one. So it's really very, very cool. So that's the update on that. Then, got this really cool video. Tug of war between a Tesla and a Mercedes G550. And a lot of times when they do these, I wonder if if everything's even. You know, whether or not they're going to truly be doing the same type, whether there's any advantage for the other one. So this one actually looked pretty cool, because I didn't know what was going to happen with this, and it turned out to be pretty interesting, the end result, because they I can just skip this. They tied two vehicles together. Let me see where we're at here. Oh, what's that? Well, there was no. How do we get a? There we go. All right, now. So let's see here. Okay, so there's the two vehicles. They tie them together. And here we go. This is the first of three.
One! Get it! Yo! Yo!
So we lost the first one.
Yeah,
Now we're going to do it again. Tesla won the second round. Now we're going to do the third round. Okay.
Let's get it. Alright, ready? Yo, Christian, you should do a drag race out. I bet.
There's a third round.
3, 2, 1, get it! Whoa!
Tesla won the third round.
No way! Tesla took it! The Model X, the space shuttle. Dang, that was fun.
And then they had a race. Now you got to think, who's going to win the race? Well, pretty simple. Here we go. Wait a minute. Are they in the same direction? They're not in the same.
0.6, but we'll see what we get today. There you go. The car's lowering right now. 3, 2, 1, go! Here we go! 30, 40, 50! Time! Whoa! Whoa! Alright, look, I got you. 3.6, not bad. I mean, the car's not fully charged, so. Eventually want to get the 6x6, but stay tuned. We get that, we might not. Let's see. Yes.
I think they did one more race. And he gave them a head start.
3, 2, 1, go! Oh, yo! I'm catching up still. I was in the bus.
People that don't believe that car is fast is they got something they need to learn. It is really fast, and it's scary fast, but it's a cool car. So, you know, it is what it is, but it's a cool, let's see here. Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. If you give my code, you can get free electric, I think. And if you use my code on the Aptera, you get $30 off your Aptera. So if you're buying, it's worth it. All right, well, getting near the end here. All right, so we did that, and we did the door. Here's a fun thing. There's a secret. If you're sitting in your Tesla and you say, open butthole, it opens up the electric, the door to the electric. I thought that was kind of funny because I never do that. And in fact, very few people knew that. And then you say closed butthole and it closes the door. So kind of funny. So anyone that wanted to know about opening and closing the butthole, that is a very interesting thing. And you heard it here. So you make sure your butthole is closed. Just kind of funny. I think that's hilarious. Open and close your butthole. Did that? Why didn't that work? It should have worked. Closed. Okay. Then we'll close our butthole. There we go. This is kind of funny. There is a rumor that the $20,000 car is going to be Model 2. And that is a big possibility. Okay, then we got, okay, so we got the Model 2 that is going to be probably the cheap one, that gives us a 2, and then the Model 3, which is out already. Then they're talking about having a Model 4, which will be the, trying to figure out, I forget how that went. It says many of us have been using the placeholder Model 2 for this model, and that's because the Model 2 is smaller than the 3. The makers use these numbers, like BMW uses the 2 Series, 3 Series, 4 Series. Volkswagen uses the ID3, ID4. Audi uses the A2, A3, A4, A5, A6. And the pattern's always the same. Smaller cars have smaller numbers. But the real reason the 3 is that they couldn't use the Model E because Ford wouldn't release the trademark, so they used the Model 3 instead of the E. And so they, spell sexy with the 4 models. But also worth noting, the Model 3, it's not called Model 3 because it's the third Tesla, it's the fourth Tesla. So in order, there's the Roadster, the Model S, the Model X, and the Model 3. With that being said, I wouldn't be opposed to a smaller model being called something else. The only problem is it can't be because it has to be 2 because, you know why? Because the next 3 vehicles in the lineup should be Model 2 and Model 4 and then Model My Shirt. And the reason is, the requirement is because the lineup can be 2 S, 3, X, Y, 4. The 2 Sexy, 4 My Shirt. You have to actually, here's where that comes from. Oh, it's not going to play. Why isn't it? Why not? Here we go.
So let's see what we can whip up. All right, so let's choose hip hop. Let's go to the key that we were in, F sharp minor. Let's choose a chord progression first. Let's see what's up.
Well, that sucks because they just killed my joke. Oh man, that sucks because there was a joke behind it. Let's see if we can get it to come up. Here it is. All right. Now it starts at the 29-second mark, I think.
Sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts. And I am too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
So that was a joke. It would have been funny if I had found it when I wanted it. But I didn't. I didn't find it on time. So, rats. Anyway, all right, on that number, we'll let it go. I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. See, that would be the number 2, Model 2, the Model S, the Model 3, which is an E, the Model X, the Model Y, number 4. So that would be the Model 4, too sexy for, and then my shirt. That was a joke. It wasn't my joke, by the way. It was a bad joke, but it wasn't my bad joke. My bad joke was not involved in this at all. But I'll take credit because I said it on the air. So, kind of sucks that I couldn't use my joke that I stole from somebody. I really wanted to do that, but it didn't let me do that. So, anyway, I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy. Yeah, would have been funnier. Wish it would have been that I could get my joke out that I stole from somebody. So I'm not claiming to have written the joke. So just in case there's somebody out there saying, well, you didn't write that joke. No, I didn't. I didn't write that joke. Just to make it clear, that joke was not mine. All right, here we go. Let's see. Here we go. And then I post it on the Facebook. And, oh, come on, let me have it. There we go. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to let this thing fly. And if there's anything fun, you can email me, message me. If you have articles you'd like me to talk about, we could talk about them. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you go. And it is time. Time to let it go. I got to find my ending. I don't know where I put it. Where's my ending? Shoot. Where's it at? Oh, I know where it's at. Hold on. Dummy me. There. It's got to be here. No, maybe not. Maybe I'm lying. Where's the ending? What the freak? Just when I think I've got an organized thing, an organized hard drive, I don't have an organized drive. Rats. Okay. Well, darn. I was going to be able to do this. I'm going to have to do it the hard way. I've got to actually look at the thing. I could have sworn I had it. There it is. I knew I had it. All right. I will talk to you guys next week. Thank you for listening. And as always, we're still the one.